Hello, Starseeds. Welcome to Enlighten My World. Happy Thanksgiving for everybody in the States and everyone who's not in the States and the whole planet. Just know that I am grateful for all of you and our time we get to share together. So, this is our Starseed weekly reading, and I wanted to get it in general, but I also thought it was a great day. The energy was wonderful to get it in on Thanksgiving, a day of giving thanks for all the blessings in our lives and all the people in our lives. Those of us who are on this path of the Starseed, sometimes we feel alone. We feel that way because we do see the separation that our paradigm has created. We're able to see that from a very early age. We're able to see that things just quite don't make sense. And I think of playing the game musical chairs. It's a game where chairs are put in a circle with the amount of children playing, and then music is played while the children dance around the chairs, and when the music stops, a chair is removed and all the children have to sit down, always leaving one child out. And I think those of us who are Starseeds kind of always felt like that child left standing at the end of the game. That's not the reality. It's more that we stood apart because we're able to see from an objective perspective with our heart eyes what's going on. It's not that we actually are separate. It's that we're so connected that when people do things, keeping each other apart, separating each other, isolating each other, ostracizing each other, those of us who are on this path of the Starseed or the light worker, it doesn't quite mesh with us. We don't quite get it. And from a very young age, we feel that it is us that are the different people. And in reality, none of us are different. What was different about us is that we sensed and felt that wasn't right. And I don't know about you guys, but I hated musical chairs. I hated dodgeball. I never had a competitive nature in me that needed to be better than or overcome other people or to put others on a pedestal. It just never quite fit with me. So hopefully some of you resonate with those emotions too. It's just as I became an adult, I started to understand that I was meant to be a giver, meant to assist others, meant to help others. So those things naturally didn't make sense to me because that's not that path. That's not the path of the healer, of the giver, to feel the need to pull yourself apart or above others because we share our gifts. We want to make all others equal to us. We want to make everyone healthy. We want to share education and knowledge that we gain with people. We want to offer our gifts to people. We don't need to highlight ourselves. We tend to have a little less, and I'm definitely not saying we don't have ego, but just a little less of that part of the ego is involved, and there's less purging with that part of the ego with those of us who are drawn to this path. Let's get into the reading. Spirit really wanted me to open up the idea today of this being an opportunity at this time. So last week we were guided to really sit in ourselves and enjoy ourselves and meditate on ourselves and just loving ourselves, pampering ourselves, taking care of ourselves so that we can take that next step. And this week, Spirit's really giving me a lot of guidance about now it's time to take some action. Nothing crazy, nothing big, just baby steps action. Maybe it's writing your ideas down in a notebook or a computer journal thing. Maybe you apply for your tax ID number, which is a free service, and really it puts it out there in the stratosphere if you're trying to start a new business. Anyway, I was guided to draw this card in the Wisdom of the Oracle deck today, which is New Life. And I hope you can see it. It's a beautiful picture with a fairy stretching like she's waking up, feeling wonderful, ready to start her day, ready to start the new day. And what this card is about is the opportunities now. Here it is. We're starting fresh. We're waking up from that time of relaxation and meditation and kind of getting our bearings about ourselves. It's time to get out of our little perch and take some action. Nothing crazy. You know, when you're first getting up in the morning, you don't want to jump out of bed and rush all around. It kind of sets the mood for our day, and we want to set the mood for our mission, what we're supposed to do in a positive way. So let's take baby steps. Let's take inspired steps. So just know that this is the time. We're in it now. And I'll be reading from Nature's Whispers Oracle deck, our Ascended Masters deck, which is out of print by Doreen Virtue, and the Archangel Gabriel Oracle cards, which is also by Doreen Virtue today, if anybody's interested. So first, I'm going to get an overall energy beyond our new life energy, just for this particular reading. And I feel it's the Nature's Whispers that Spirit wants me to use for this. Okay. Let's see what it's got for us today. Okay, we got to pop it right away. Celebrate differences. Celebrate differences. That's a really, really pretty card. It's got a unicorn on it. And I believe this may be a card that we got last week. So maybe the tail end of this energy is happening this week. I want to get some clarity as to where Spirit wants us to go with that. But that is a number 3 card. Oh, we got 2 tarot cards that popped out. Okay, so I have the Queen of Swords and I have the Lovers. Now, get over there. Okay, I got it. So, in our new endeavor, when we're getting ready to start this mission, if we haven't already started, it's kind of like the next leg of the mission, because many of us have been on this mission for a very long time. And this is a new leg of the mission, leg of the race. And this is a time that we kind of need to put all of our judgments in where others are to the side. So as we awaken and as we become more enlightened, we want to bring others into that with us. We want to share our knowledge with others. We want to open others up and help them to awaken, which is a large portion of our mission, if not our whole mission, is to awaken and enlighten our world. However, there are always going to be people that aren't quite there. It's not anything wrong with that. It's just they're at a different place in their journey than we are. And we have to look at it very similar to how we would look at a child in an elementary classroom. So a child in an elementary classroom may be extremely intelligent. They may get concepts far beyond their developmental age. However, they're still 7, 8 years old. And there are developmental milestones they have not met, and there are experiences in life they, thank God, have not experienced, and there is knowledge that they don't have yet. They're still a child. And those of us who are their caregivers, their parents, their teachers, we see them as that child. We don't see them as less than or different from us. We see them as someone who's going to grow into us, who will become an adult, and it is our job to give them that information, to educate them, to give them that knowledge. When we're looking at other adults, we don't really see them as the child when we're thinking of our awakening and our enlightening process. We assume that others, even others who are interested, very interested in what we're interested in, New Age philosophies, metaphysics, occult studies, things like that, they may be very interested and open to these concepts. They may grasp these concepts, but not at the level you grasp them at. And because they're another adult, we oftentimes can't understand why they're not getting it. And in reality, we need to look at them as that child, because developmentally on their spiritual path, they're more of the 7 or 8-year-old child. They could be, beyond that or less than that. But that's how we have to look at them. We don't judge a child for being a child. We don't get angry with a child because they don't get the concepts of commerce and budgeting. We assume they don't understand that. It's our job to teach them that, and we teach them that when they're developmentally ready. I'm not going to teach a 7-year-old about budgeting for a mortgage and being prepared for retirement when they're 7. We have to keep it at their level that they are interested in and that they comprehend. So those who are on the spiritual path, or that's everybody, but those who come across us, that we are inspired to initiate and ignite them on their spiritual path, Spirit wants us to know, try not to judge them. Get out of your headspace. Get out of that, because then we're doing the exact thing that we're supposedly evolved beyond, and that's getting in that head space, not the heart space, of judgment and assumptions. And when we do that, our actions and our behavior tend to reflect that. And if we want to inspire others, and we want them to grow, and we want them to be better people, more awakened people, and join us on this path, then they can't feel that energy coming from us, that we're judging them. We're to be in a place of unconditional love. Even if they say things that annoy us, when they're ready, they'll open up to it. But I can't judge them for judging me, because it's my job to show them there's no reason to judge me. And typically when people make those assessments and those judgments on you that are in your family or in close to you in your life, they're doing it out of fear for you, because they love you and they don't want you to be destitute. It is up to us to show them it's okay. I'm fine. I really appreciate your concern. I really appreciate your care. And that's where this is coming from. This is, these are hurdles that I have gone through myself over and over again throughout many years. So I do understand if you're in that space of people just not quite understanding you. And as a starseed, you've kind of felt that your whole life anyway. But you do get to the point where you're like, oh my word, can you please will somebody get me? Will people finally get me at some point? And it's not meant for them to get you. It's meant for them to get themselves. Once they understand who they are and who we are as a collective, that's when those ego-based outward shells can fall away. They molt and they can become the people, the divine people that they're meant to be. So I'm going to move on, because that message was a little bit longer. So that's the energy is that we have to understand and stay out of those places of ego where we may look at others who aren't quite at our level and assume that they don't care for us, or they're never going to be with us, or they're just not getting it. So I'm going to get a card for Archangel Gabriel. It's going to give us a card for where our soul energy, our higher self, what our higher self wants to tell us. Soul energy, that of our higher self. What does it want to tell us for this week? What advice does our higher self have for us this week? This is the only bad part about shuffling. There we go. On camera. So that takes forever if it doesn't want to come out. Blocks lifted. Oh, that is awesome. That's actually really exciting for me to see that card. Blocks lifted. It says, I need my glasses, sorry. Previous obstacles came from fear, and they are now lifted away. Oh, this is actually an exciting card for me. And if those of you who've been on a similar wavelength that I've been on, I've been really working through a lot of my blocked issues and things that are keeping me from progressing. And just from others that I work with and are around that are also on this journey, I know that we've all kind of been in this space of lull. And I guess last week's advice to really, if you haven't listened to last week's video, please do. Because it's just of taking care of yourself and pampering. And these are messages for those of us who are on this journey to awaken the world. We really do feel this push and have felt this push probably since we were very young, that we're meant to do something different and we're meant to do something special, and we just couldn't quite figure out what it is. And now we're in it. We are there. This is the time. This is, Revelations, just not the way the Bible posed it, or at least not the way we interpreted the Bible as posing it. We're there. We are the awakened, and it is our job to assist others who are unawakened in waking up and ascending within themselves and recognizing that heaven is here on earth because it's within us. It's in each of us. And that's just such an exciting concept if you think about it, that it's always been here. We just haven't noticed it. It's right there, right within our heart centers. It's in us. Remember, these bodies, we are a spirit that is chosen to experience a human life, because human lives are so precious. And we are starseeds who have chosen to come here and to not only feel what it's like to be human, because humans are all about emotion, which some people think are our weakness, but in actuality, it is such a strength. It is such a strength, especially when we are ascending, because we can take those experiences of emotion and use them and see to the soul of every person. See the goodness, see the small child, see that person who needs love in every single soul. And the fact that Spirit is telling us that our issues, our blocks have been lifted, and this is the time. This is really the time to move forward. And look, oh my gosh, it's the star card. I love the star card. The star card is that our wishes have come true, and to me that means abundance. Our blocks, our abundance blocks have been lifted. How many of you have been waiting to hear that? They've been lifted, so you can let it go and just be ready to receive. We have the time of Christmas coming, a time of giving and sharing and receiving and loving. And what a perfect time for our abundance to start a rolling than in this season of giving and loving and family. And we're right there. Starseeds, this is so exciting to me. I'm like overjoyed with this reading, and we're not even through it yet. It's so optimistic, and if you have been feeling down, there has been some crazy energy going around. Jupiter's been in Sagittarius, which for me as a Sagittarius, that's actually a good thing, but for the rest of the planet, it may be a little energy that's not quite what we want. And just remember, that's all it is energy, and energy is transmuted constantly. So as I believe today, maybe Sunday, is when Jupiter steps out of Sagittarius and goes into Capricorn. And we'll feel a little bit of a shift to that energy in a positive direction. So I think this is telling us for this week to come, blocks are lifted. That energy, that stagnant energy, or that, anxiety energy that you've been feeling, that's not even yours. And as long as you've been going with it and staying open, and remember to stay in your meditative practices, even if you only meditate for 5 minutes a day, meditate. That's really going to help you on this journey. It's really going to open you up. If you're interested in learning more, we're going to be doing a whole lot of classes and workshops coming up on our Enlighten My World channel and Enlighten TV. Please watch them, because we want all of you to open up and wake up with us and enlighten the world with us. I'm moving on because I'm going on a tangent. All right, Archangel Gabriel. Where should we be in our heart space? Where should we be in our heart space? Oh, this says deserving. Oh, the light's a little glary on that. Can you see that with the light? You, like all of God's children, deserve happiness, health, and love. So where should our heart space be? In receiving. that abundance. So though our energy from last week, which was very receptive, and we're still in a state of receptive energy, but Spirit is telling us this is it. Get your ideas in order. Start thinking about things. Start writing them down. Start planning. Don't plan too much, because remember, what happens when we plan? God laughs. But this is a time to recognize we've lifted those blocks. And many of us, the blocks we were lifting was a feeling of unworthiness. It was a feeling of unworthiness. And Spirit's telling us, stay in that space of knowing you deserve the life you want. You deserve the love you want. You deserve the abundance that's coming to you. You deserve good people that are like-minded in your life. You are all deserving, and the universe is providing. And you're doing the work. You're doing the work that was expected of you. So I'm going to get a message to tag on to that of where we can put that energy in action. Oh, all right. Intuition. That's awesome. Because that's kind of where we're at. As Starseeds, we use our intuition all the time. And the star card is also one of intuition as well. And this is a really pretty card with lots of symbolism in it. I hope you guys can see it on the camera. So where should we be continuing to free ourselves of blocks? Because they're just lifting. They're just flying with the stars. Our card of flow. Let the energy flow. Let the love flow. Let the abundance flow. Because we're deserving of it. Keep those particles, getting off of our pipes and flushing out and transmuting into different energy. And use your intuition when you feel things coming up. Know when a block is a block trigger. And it is not actually your problem. It is not actually something wrong with you. It is something wrong with the energy around you. There isn't something wrong. There's a lesson to learn there. Use your intuition. And when it comes, we're going to come back to here. When it comes to celebrating differences and those that we love, maybe not understanding where we come from, or maybe we don't understand why they're not evolving with us. It's time for our intuition there. It's time for us to notice and celebrate those differences and say, that's okay, because that's them and I'm me. And I'm going to continue to push and help them to evolve. But the bottom line is, I know I'm in this new life. I know that abundance is coming to me. I know that I have done the work in this time. I know that I am deserving of all that is coming to me. Okay? This is really a great reading. Now, we're going to get Spirit wants us to know that is coming to us in this next week. What we should be focusing on, where we should be focused. Where should our energy be focused? Ascended Masters. Ooh, we got a flipper. Flow of prosperity. Ooh, that's Lakshmi. All right, I'm going to get another one. Kind of like a lesson. What's our lesson? That's our focus. So what's our lesson? How do we focus? What are we learning about? What is our lesson to go with this week? What is our lesson for this week? Okay. Priorities. Okay, it's King Solomon. So I'm just going to grab us. That popped out with our priorities. Thank you, but I was going to ask you about our flow of prosperity clarity first. Okay, so this is the Ace of Swords here. And the Ace of Swords goes right along with our message of new life. And I like that it's an Ace of Swords, though I love all the aces. This particular message, I really like that it's the Ace of Swords, because the Ace of Swords implies a new beginning. A new beginning of truth, knowing who we are, staying in our truth, being in our truth, And as starseeds, that's such an important thing to us, that we are acting and living in our truth, because we always feel just a little bit off, just a little bit isolated, just a little bit separated when we are not living in our truth. And Spirit wants us to know this is the time. It's all starting to happen. We're going to start feeling ourselves easily roll, not with a lot of effort. The effort's going to come with joy and creativity and inspiration and intuition. The effort isn't going to come from busting our behind for hours and hours and hours to where you're going cross-eyed or your back hurts because of the work you put into something. It isn't that kind of thing. This is the stuff that things are just going to be drawn to you. Flow of prosperity. Be open to it. Let it come. Recognize when something is prosperity. Sometimes, things happen all day long and we don't notice that it is the universe talking to us. For instance, we have Wawa here on the East Coast, Northeast Coast, which anyone who's from the New Jersey, Philadelphia area will tell you that is our bee's knees. We all love our Wawa. And it has moved into other parts of the country, so I know you're all starting to experience the beauty of Wawa. But anyway, I went into Wawa yesterday and I had this really strange experience. I was pouring my coffee at the coffee counter, and there was a gentleman next to me, and when I moved, he counted in a way and walked around. Normally people walk in front of me like, oh, excuse me, especially in the morning, everybody's still sleepy. He countered me in a way, and I countered him like a dance, and I noted it that way in my head. I was like, wow, that was kind of cool. It was like we were dancing. And then I went around the corner to get a straw or something, and there was another gentleman there, and normally I would have walked in front of him, said, excuse me, one of us have pulled to the side, blah, blah, blah. But in this case, he did the same thing, and I countered him intuitively knowing how and where he was going to move. I was like, wow, that's really strange. I wonder if that's like a thing right now. In this Wawa, if I'm on some kind of energy wavelength where we're all in sync in this Wawa, it's kind of strange because we both intuitively knew, and that was a second person. And typically in the morning, that is not when that stuff is happening, when you're getting ready to travel to work. So then I get in line, and the line's really long, and there's a line on both sides of the counter. They have people open on both sides. And a girl steps in front of me. She was first. And then she steps out of line to go get another item. So I held her space because I could see she wasn't grabbing a whole bunch of stuff. She was just grabbing something she possibly forgot. And she comes back to the line and she starts walking to the back of the line. And I gestured to her spot where she was in front of me. And she says, really? I was like, yeah, sure. So she was like, thank you so much. So then I got this feeling overwhelming me. It actually started to trigger me to cry. Which is something that happens when spirit comes over me often. And I was yelling at myself in my head because my feeling was she's going to buy my coffee. And I said, Nicki, cut it out. Just because you let her step in front of you doesn't mean that she owes you coffee or that she's going to buy you coffee. And what I didn't realize is I was telepathically getting that from her, and I automatically judged my own thought and was angry at myself for thinking that I needed or wanted to have a reciprocation, because I absolutely didn't. And I would do that any day, and I've done that 1,000 times. But this particular day, and don't you know, she goes up and she says, I want to buy her order. But the next part is the most amazing part to this story. So I thanked her profusely. I said, oh, you don't have to do that, I said, I'll see you. Have a wonderful day. And I started walking out the door. And another woman who probably was checking out around the same time as myself and the girl was coming through the door, and she held the door for me. And she says, hello, good morning. I said, good morning. She said, the strangest thing just happened to me. The gentleman in front of me just purchased my whole order. And I looked at her, and I was about to cry. I was about to bust into tears. I took all of my strength to hold it back so she didn't think I was a crazy person. And I said, that's insane. I said, the girl in front of me just paid for my order. And the lady stopped and she said, oh my gosh. She says, I feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing up in goosebumps. She's like, it's got to be angels. And I walked out of there, and I didn't know what to say. I really was choked up. I got in the car. I immediately started crying because of the sense of love that I felt was so overwhelming. I felt oneness with everyone in that stupid little store that's in a stupid little town that, with no real meaning. I felt oneness with everyone in that store. There was something happening energetically at that time. I don't know if just there, if it was the whole planet or what was going on, but that was a sign from spirit. And you know, it changed my entire day. It motivated my entire day. It motivated how I spoke to everyone all day long, to where every person that came to me with a negative thought or a negative feeling, I had some kind of word of wisdom from spirit to help them release that so that they felt a little bit of what I felt. Those are the signs of the prosperity of flow. Please pay attention to those. Starseeds, they come to us more than anybody else, and it's our job to bring them to others. And so our priorities need to be in this mission. Our priorities need to be not in judgment. Okay? We're back to our original message again. Celebrating differences. Our priorities this week, where our focus needs to be, is accepting flow of abundance and accepting others and their differences and loving them unconditionally regardless. Loving unconditionally does not mean that we have to have a relationship with every single person we come across. It means in their actions we step back into a space of objectivity at their actions and their words and what they're doing, and that we project unconditional love at that so that we're able to see the true motives behind their actions, whether they're desired behaviors that they're giving us or undesired. And that way our reaction and how we come at them is with unconditional love. All right, Starseeds, have a fantastic week. I'm so glad that I was able to share this message with you because it is such a beautiful message. We are on an incredible journey here, and I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. Honestly, it chokes me up every day. I just want you to know that I truly love you, and I'm so excited for us and this awakening, and I'm excited for the planet, and I'm excited to see these changes. I'm seeing them now in my own life, and I am seeing them shift out there. Pay attention, notice, write this stuff down, because when we get down and when we feel alone and isolated, that's when we need to look back on what we feel in these times of beauty and awesomeness. Have a wonderful week. I love you. Many blessings and big hugs. Bye-bye.